Welcome to WagerTalk Today. I'm Lawrence Presman, the Prez, co-founder of WagerTalk Media, owner of WagerTalk.com, SportsMemo.com, which I bought from the man next to me, and the Gold Sheet. Teddy Covers with us, greatest game day breakdown analysts of all time, a good friend of mine, and a man who won his 5% play yesterday on the Las Vegas Raiders, still trying to calm himself down from the drama. How are you, Teddy?
I'll tell you what, today feels a lot more normal than most days in 2020. You know what I mean? Yesterday felt normal. Saturday felt normal. I spent a lot of time. I should say I spent a lot of time. I watched, I think, every game in college football and the NFL this weekend. Most of it, at least bits of it. So that's normal. Monday, breaking everything down, this is normal. Glad you could join us here on Wager Talk Today.
Yeah, I didn't watch much college football. I probably watched 4 or 5 games. But like always, NFL, I watch every game. It's funny, though, Teddy. I find when I'm watching 4 games at once, when I see the highlights later on at the end of the day of games that I actually watched in its entirety, I'm like, I don't remember that play. I don't remember that play. So I always go back throughout the week and actually watch a lot of the games again because it's hard. It's just hard to get it all in when you're watching so many games at once.
Sure. Well, I mean, with the NFL in particular, when they had 9 games going early yesterday or 8 games going, I think it was 9.
Yeah.
I max focus on 6. So there's 3 games that I didn't watch a lot of the Browns and the Ravens. I didn't watch a whole lot of Seattle, Atlanta. And there was a 3rd game that I didn't watch a lot of Green Bay, Minnesota. All those games were decided fairly early, and I put my attention elsewhere. But the one thing I do, I go through all the play-by-plays. All the drive charts after the game. Sunday night is a long night because I'm going through every game to make sure that before I make my number for the upcoming week, that I fully understand everything that happened yesterday. Hopefully we'll be able to share some of that knowledge with you today on the show.
Well, this is how today's going down. Marco D'Angelo's joining us. He's our first guest. We'll have him up in about 5-7 minutes. We're going to talk a couple of NFL games and a baseball game. Then no second guest, Teddy. You and I are going to do a what we learned from week 1 in the NFL segment. And then Ralph Michaels after that.
Man, I got to say, Lawrence, you know how to bury the lead as good as anybody. We will be doing both Monday Night Football game breakdowns with Marco D'Angelo in just a few minutes.
Teddy, you're always better than me. What can I say?
Dude, there's 2 Monday Night Football games tonight. You're burying the lead. We will break down and analyze both of those football games shortly.
Let me tell you what my problem is right now. The way we do this, there's a split screen. I see Teddy and I, and then I see the guest that is about to come on. I'm literally staring at Marco while we talk. It's throwing me off, dude. It's throwing me off. Bad Beats, Kanye West Award, and we have a new award we're going to discuss, but I want to save that new award for when Marco comes on. So let's go right into Bad Beats. You take it away, Teddy.
Well, gee, bad beats, bad bets, bad for the books. Let's start with bad beats. How many unders got crushed late yesterday? Well, let's see. The Jets punched in a late touchdown. What's that?
One of mine. I went 3-1 in NFL yesterday. I lost my 5% play on the under in Indianapolis, and I'm still reeling.
Sure, I was going to get to that, but we'll talk. I was debating into the order of badness, but the bottom line is there were multiple unders.
The order of badness, they got to start with Detroit.
Yeah, probably. But Detroit comes into the bad beat category. We'll get there with the Lions. And that was tough if you had Detroit. Although if you're a Lions fan, you know exactly what happened. But let's stay with the unders. There were 4 unders that literally got crushed right at the end of the game. Detroit, Chicago, Jets, Buffalo, Philly, Washington, which was a defensive scrum throughout and somehow got over the closing number, and then Jacksonville, Indy. So, and though that game wasn't a dead nuts under throughout, I don't call that the worst of the beats. The bottom line is all 4 of those were on pace to stay under. All 4 of those cashed over tickets. And, of course, let's not forget the Cowboys. That offensive pass interference call was very good for me and my bankroll in my day. However, it was not good for you if you had the Cowboys in that contest, even at the best of the price. However, I'm not going to call it a bad beat. A bad beat is when you have a right side and you lose. Dallas was not the right side in that game. That game was coin flip. Dallas wasn't in position. They weren't dominating the game, et cetera, et cetera. Your worst beats are when you have the right side and it doesn't come through. Of course, we have bad bets. You know, let's see. There was a huge wise guy move on the Falcons. That wasn't a good bet. Russell Wilson was incredible yesterday. There was a huge wise guy move on the Browns. They took a lot of sharp money. Not good there. The public loved them some Colts. No, Indy wasn't good.
We'll get to that.
Course, yeah, and let's not forget the Clippers, who were in my pocket. Did I have them first half? No. Did I have them full game? Yes. Were they up 16 at the half? Yes. Did they lose outright by double digits? Yes. Clippers were awful in the second half of yesterday's game. They were bet up from 8.5 to 9.5 in that contest. So, and then you have a couple of games bad for the books. You know, the Bills were really bad for the books. Everyone with Buffalo was in a lot of parlays, teasers, etc. Arizona was a bad game for the books. The Packers and the Raiders, all bad results for bookmakers here in Nevada.
He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. You're watching WagerTalk Today. The single most viewed, highly anticipated, incredibly informative, most entertaining sports gambling show of all time, soon.
I love the hyperbole.
Kanye West. No, it wasn't hyperbole because I said soon. We're not there yet, Teddy, but we will be, especially with our incredible producer, Joe. Okay. Kanye West Award. I got two. The first one is me. I deserve a Kanye West Award for being a total idiot. I'm in two survivor pools. The big survivor pool, the Circa, with Carmine, we took New England. Yes! And I was the one that begged him to take New England. So we got through. Dude, it was full out carnage. Over 40% of the Circa Survivor Pool, which cost $1,000 to enter, has a $1.4 million prize pool. 40% of the people are out week one. I'm one of those idiots in my second pool. I took Indianapolis, and I did it against your best wishes, Teddy. So I am sorry. I should have listened to you. I deserve the Kanye West Award. Would you like
if
to
it makes you feel
on
any
that?
better, I did not have the Jaguars in my pocket yesterday, and I was kicking myself pretty good for that one. So I guess I get a Kanye West Award too, because I talked you out of playing Indy in that game. Or I didn't talk you out of
And the
playing
next
Indy.
one is Mike McCarthy. Well, we missed you, Mike. We remember you being the worst coach in football. Welcome back. There's many things to discuss in regards to the terrible play calling and just the complete lack of discipline by Dallas. But on a whole, Teddy, he might be the worst game manager of all time, and I am lost, utterly lost. Maybe you can explain why they didn't kick a field goal on 4th and 2 to tie the game.
Okay, now let's stop with this. Why didn't he kick a field goal? We bitch, you bitch, I bitch. Everyone who follows the NFL bitches when the coach kicks the field goal from inside the 5. It's bad analytics. From a chance of winning percentage, them going for it on 4th down versus them kicking the field goal was, I think, a 0.2% difference. Okay. It's the right move at that stage of the game. I give Mike McCarthy credit for growing as a coach from his days in Green Bay and realizing that in 2020, you go for it on 4th down from inside the 5-yard line. That being said, Mike McCarthy's still an ass clown, and I still made money betting against him yesterday. But that decision that everyone is second-guessing today, everyone who's second-guessing is wrong. The only reason they're second-guessing is because it didn't work.
Teddy Covers, you're allowed to be wrong too sometimes, and you are on this topic. Brother, let's take a quick break. Marco D'Angelo coming up next.
Football is here, and the Gold Sheet, the nation's oldest sports betting newsletter, is back for its 63rd year, bigger and better than ever. Gold Sheet has a new, improved web-based, mobile-friendly format that includes all of the winning information you rely on with the easiest access ever. While the format is new, all of the features you are accustomed to are still there. That's right, analysis on every pro and college game, key release selections, updated power ratings on every team, point spread logs for all NFL and college teams, and all college football games through May 2021 will be included. To celebrate joining the WagerTalk family, we are offering our subscribers our best deal ever. Sign up for a season of any Gold Sheet product and get $200 in wager bucks as a bonus. Wager bucks can be used to purchase handicapping information from any of our 40-plus experts on WagerTalk or sportsmemo.com. Head to goldsheet.com/WagerTalk for any subscription and bonus details.
Welcome back, everybody. 300 of you in the chat room. Only 29 likes. Smash that like button for us. It is super important. Really, guys, I need you all. You can touch it gently. You can sit on it. You can use your elbow, forehead maneuver. I don't care. But smash that like button. Marco D'Angelo joining us. Teddy and Marco, welcome to Wager Talk Today.
It's good to be here, guys. Good morning, Teddy, and same to you, Prez.
Well, the craziest thing is, Marco, and you know this as fact, I live on the East Coast, go to bed later than you, and wake up later than you, even with your 3-hour time difference.
Yeah, I do get some weird hour texts from you, that's for sure, yes.
Marco, before we get into it, you're going to take apart both Monday Night Football games, and then we're going to look at the Twins-White Sox game. I got to tell everybody, we're going to be releasing a new award on this show. We need a name for it. Teddy and I disagree. We have the Kanye West Award for total stupidity. We need a new award for total brilliance. I want to name it the Pink Floyd Award. Teddy was like, Prez, don't date yourself. So we're still looking for a name. But anyway, and by the way, Teddy, all men date themselves. With that said, Marco D'Angelo, did you see the greatest tweet in history of Wager Talk last night?
I did see it. Shout out to our listener watches the show. You might have heard of the show, Prez. It's called Bet On It. And
yeah, dude, soon to be the second biggest show on Wager Talk.
Let me know when that happens, okay?
Oh, I will.
But I know you will, yes. But I'm not worried about it. There's no sweat rolling down my forehead here. But Prez, this guy, he watches the show all the time. Follows also. He gave a shout out not only to Kelly and Gianni, but Kyle Anthony for his MMA picks, UFC picks, and our own SIG Las Vegas for horse picks. Guy went out and bought himself a new toy, brand new car, nice, sweet ride. And what's he do? He gets a vanity plate, license plate, and it's Bet On It. And I got to tell you, you might have to give me the Kanye West Award for not having that as my vanity license plate here in Nevada. I could still take a shot because this guy's in Utah. So I got to hurry up and snatch that up so I can drive around and, send you a picture all the time. Because you'll always be seeing Bet On It from behind.
But how? Oh, should we just let that one sit for a bit?
Yeah, it took you a little while for it to sink in.
Yeah, because Marco, fair enough. But Teddy, dude, this guy literally bought a brand new car and put Bet On It as his license plate, took a picture, tweeted it out, and thanked everybody at Wager Talk, meaning Marco and a lot of his people, for all the winners. How freaking great is that?
I mean, that's cool. But frankly, that's our job. Okay, it's our job to make people money. When we don't, we're not doing our job right. So I'm glad that one of the regular viewers, why do you guys keep saying listeners? Viewers. They're watching us.
He's permanently correcting people. My apologies.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
We do release it in podcast
the fact that the fact that one of your viewers / listeners was able to buy a new car from his profits, no surprise, Marco. You give out good info on that show. It's worth watching.
That is for sure. And guys, I just got a notification from our CEO. We're going to be calling it the Rick Alec Award. That was his idea. Rick, you see, both of them just started laughing instantly. Marco, New York Giants, Pittsburgh. Oh, my Lord. -5.5, -6 at South Point at Bookmaker. Pinnacle's got a 6. Total of 45 here, brother. How are we going to take this game apart?
Well, let me give the disclaimer that I am from Pittsburgh, but I'm not a homer, guys. I bet with the Steelers as much as I bet against the Steelers. And if you're going to be a professional handicapper and make a living betting sports, you got to separate your head and your heart when you're making your wagers. Now, guys, one of the advantages that I've talked about coming into the season, the first week or two of the NFL, I thought teams that had continuity were going to have an advantage getting started because we didn't have the mini camps, we didn't have preseason football. And although the play for the most part was a lot better than I thought it would be yesterday without having preseason, you still look at some of the teams that had the continuity. And by that, I mean, look at Baltimore. The coaching staff has been in place forever. They have the nucleus or the team intact, and they won easily yesterday. Another one, everybody was in love with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Tom Brady. Hey, he was going to a brand new offense. Bruce Arians' offense is not easy, but he was facing a team in New Orleans that has all their pieces in place and have been there for a while. So with that, I'm going to segue to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, there isn't an organization in the NFL that when you say continuity and stability, it's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Guys, I'm 59, going to be 59 years old in a couple months. I only know 3 head coaches in my lifetime: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin. And guys, the last 2 seasons, Mike Tomlin might have been his greatest coaching performances in back-to-back years. 2 years ago, the Steelers, 9 wins 2 years ago, and that was with the Le'Veon Bell drama where he was coming in, he wasn't coming in. We went through that drama every week until week 10, which was the last week he could come in, and then he finally, said, I'm not coming. Then you had the drama every week with Antonio Brown that year, and he still got 9 wins. Last year might have been the best job of all. You got no Antonio Brown. They released him, traded him away. You got no Le'Veon Bell. And after the second game of the season, you got no Ben Roethlisberger. And this team finished at 8-8. And how did they finish at 8-8? One of the best defenses in the NFL. And when you think how good this defense was last year, and it turned around when they got the guy from Miami, Minkah Fitzpatrick. He turned that secondary around instantly, and that was the difference on that defense. Now it's year 2 with that defense gelled, and think about it. Remember the quarterbacks the Pittsburgh put on the field last year. We had Mason Rudolph. We had Duck Hodges. Remember when the city of Pittsburgh for 3 games was going, quack, quack crazy with Duck Hodges? That offense couldn't stay on the field, which put the defense on the field even more plays. Now, Ben's going to come back. Yeah, is there going to be some rust with Ben? He missed an entire season. Of course, but he's a veteran in the same offense he's run forever. Pittsburgh gets the job done. I think they win this game by 10. And if you look at the New York Giants, here's a stat with the Giants. We know Monday night people love to look at the home dogs. Well, this is a different year that you got to put asterisks in, because of the fans and stuff in the stands. But I got to point out, the last 11 times the Giants have been a home underdog, they're just 1-10 against the spread. We know that Tomlin's weak spot has been playing poor teams on the road. He doesn't have a good record ATS-wise in that situation, but being it's the first game of the season, being the excitement of having Ben back, and all indications out of camp are he's showing no signs of the injury, with the elbow. He's been sharp in practice. I'm looking at Pittsburgh to come out of here with a, workmanlike victory by 10 points. I got Pittsburgh by 10 on the first game.
So we certainly saw the first-year head coaches struggle yesterday, Marco. 1-3 ATS in the first half because the Cowboys got that late touchdown to cover first half against the Rams. I think everyone covered first half who had Dallas. So they covered. And then the other one was the Washington football team, who rallied back from an insurmountable deficit against Philly, thanks to complete Eagles ineptitude for some period of time in that ballgame. But that was every other first-year coach lost first half and full game. Judge, obviously, in his first year with the Giants, I'm not expecting the G-men to be ready, just like the other first-year head coaches had their fair share of struggles. But my question to you comes with Tomlin and the Steelers as chalk in week one. Tomlin's history is bad preseasons, bad week ones. We remember last year against New England, where Pittsburgh was not ready for their season opener. What makes you think this is different?
Just the fact of not making the playoffs the last two seasons, something that hasn't happened. One thing with Tomlin is he's never had a losing season in Pittsburgh, but he did miss the playoffs 2 years in a row. That window of opportunity for the Pittsburgh Steelers is closing. Even though Ben's back, what's he got left? 1-2 years left in the league, 3 tops. I say more like 2. This is the opportunity for them this season with this team, with this offense, and this will be the first time in the last 2 years they're entering a season with 0 drama. No Le'Veon Bell issue, no Antonio Brown issue. This is a team. You saw how hard they played for Tomlin last year. I think they get off to the right start. And yes, I can't disagree with you about history, but again, as we said about the home dog, with the fans not being there, it changes the dynamic of how we look at the road teams in these games. It was weird watching some of the games. Some of them piped in artificial noise. Others didn't. It was, weird to see yesterday. But the Giants, second year, don't forget, this is a second-year quarterback with Jones. This is a spot where he's got a new offensive coordinator. You take a second-year quarterback and make him have 2 different offenses in 2 different years. That makes it even tougher, in my opinion, for them. And I look for Pittsburgh to come out with that defense, as good as it is, to make it that much tougher on this Giant football team to move the ball.
Quick
Marco,
follow-up,
I forgot.
Marco.
Go ahead,
Marco.
Teddy.
We saw all the old quarterbacks look awful yesterday. Brady was terrible. Breeze wasn't very good. Rivers wasn't very good.
Oh,
you trust in Big Ben?
I didn't talk to Big Ben what he's going to do, but with Brady, he's got an excuse. Okay, again, that was a brand new offense for him. In Bruce Arians' offense, and what did he do? He had 2 interceptions. And all week when we broke that game down, any place that I talked about Tom Brady in that offense, I said, guys, everybody made a big deal about Jameis Winston and all the turnovers. If you go back the history of Bruce Arians, every quarterback that the first year that he was in Bruce Arians' offense was one of their highest years in turnovers. It's the offense. It's a high-risk, high-reward offense. He goes down the field. You're going to turn the football over. It's just, and he had a pick 6 yesterday. Looked just like Jameis Winston. As far as the other guys go, Phillip Rivers, guys, we saw him last year. He was horrible at the second half of the season with the Chargers. That's why the Chargers cut ties with him. And who was the third one you said, Teddy? Quarterback?
Breeze was struggling to get anything downfield.
Yeah, Breeze is one of those ones
No
which,
quarterbacks looked
again,
bad yesterday, all of them.
Yeah, Breeze did look bad. If they didn't have Taysom Hill running the gimmick plays yesterday, it could have been a different outcome, minus those 2 turnovers, which was a big help as well. But if you remember with the Saints, that's something that's a common denominator with them as well. They have always struggled in week 1 for whatever reason. And, you would think, and I think it goes back to these veteran quarterbacks never got to see action in the preseasons in the past. Well, obviously they didn't get that again this year. So maybe they needed some of those reps, but I know there was a lot of people chirping on Twitter and the talking heads that they liked not having the preseason games. I think we may see some change in the future, at least not 4 games. I think they might
agree.
reduce it moving forward.
That's
To
already
maybe
done in
just
the
two
new collective
preseason.
bargaining agreement. It's only 2 games moving forward once they get the extra game on the schedule next year.
Boys, we got to
absolutely.
keep this. We got to keep this moving. Marco, I forgot how loquacious you are. I just want to say, and I know this is very important for Teddy. Teddy, my chef, my personal chef, just logged into the chat room. I'm having a chicken and corn soup today, delivered in about 10 minutes and then heated up after the show. Also, shout out to Joe. Great graphics, Joe. This show is looking better every day. 413 of you watching, 95 likes. Hit that button. Marco, we're likely going to have to skip the MLB game. Let's go to the next one. Tennessee -3. Teddy's still thinking about my personal chef. Tennessee -3 versus Denver, a total of 40.5, 41. Take it apart, brother.
Well, first of all, we saw a big line move in this game, and we saw yesterday some of those big line moves went by the wayside, but there were some that got there. Arizona, was getting money. They got there. But we saw what happened in the Atlanta game. And when Von Miller was announced out in this game, we started to see the money move to the Tennessee side. Now, guys, we talk about the value of players. I can't put 4 points of value on a single defensive player. And I know Von Miller's one of the greats of the game, but he's also, getting a little bit long in the tooth as well. So I think this is a big overreaction as far as the line goes. We look at the Tennessee Titans and what a season they had last year, and it all changed when Ryan Tannehill took over as quarterback, and he put up the best numbers of his career. And it's one of those old adages that I always say about quarterbacks. You take a average quarterback and give him a good running game, he's going to be a good quarterback. You take a good quarterback and give him a good running game, you're going to make him look great. And that's what happened last year. 2 words. Derrick Henry was an absolute beast from start to finish last year. And that opened everything up for Ryan Tannehill. In fact, it got him that new contract this year. Both him and Derrick Henry got paid. So anytime you get 2 stars get paid like that, you got to worry a little bit if they're just quite as hungry that next year after the big payday. But I look at Denver, and I think the future is bright for Denver. I know we seem to say this every year with the Denver Broncos. They finally found their quarterback. Well, they believe they have in Drew Lock. He came in at the end of the season last year. They won 4 out of 5 games. And to, correlate that to somebody else that we've seen do that, remember when Jimmy Garoppolo ran the table the final 5 games of the season a couple of years ago, and 2 years later, they're in the Super Bowl. So Denver, I think the future's bright. Fangio is a defensive-minded coach. He has schemes. He does a lot of zone schemes. It takes time to learn that. We saw at the end of the season last year, Denver's defense was gelling. They were playing good football the second half of the season, and I think that carries over this year, second year in his schemes. They went out and added some players to the defense as well. And then Drew Lock's going to make this defense better just for the fact, think about this, guys. Since 2016, Denver's had 7 different starting quarterbacks. Okay. And the reason has not been injuries. It's been that nobody could, be efficient. And this is a team that couldn't stay on the field offensively last year, like we talked about the Steelers, which if you don't have long drives, you're putting your defense out there for more plays per game. That defense, as good as it was last year in the second half, will be even better this year with a more consistent offense getting time of possession in the right order. Now, they did sign running back Melvin Gordon this year. They had a good running game to start with. If he's happy, he's got his contract now, he should be able to get some yardage on the ground. I think this is a team that's going to make some noise. They're not going to catch the Chiefs. Nobody's doing that, but they're going to make some noise in the AFC West, and I'll take them as a home dog. And I'll give you a stat is courtesy of Mark Lawrence, but we'll put the asterisk on it, guys, because it's 2020 in the fan situation. But Denver, going back the last 30 years, their home opener, when they're playing a non-division foe, their home opener, they're 16-3-1 against the spread. That's a hard number to ignore. Wow. But again, this is a different year and a different circumstance. But I still think Denver can get the job done. Has anybody looked at the Tennessee defense? Do they remember the collapse they had in the playoff game against Kansas City? Now, we're not going to mix up the Denver offense with Kansas City's, but this is a team that gave up points in bunches last year at times. I like Denver at home to get the job done.
So I was looking at the Broncos real close last night, and I started reading Vic Fangio quotes, and I completely got off of Denver. All right, Fangio talking about how you can't simulate Derrick Henry in practice, and I think that's real. You know, Derrick Henry is that when you have a 245-pound bowling ball, he's not a guy who's easy to simulate when you haven't done the proper tackling. Fangio was really worried about his receiving core. We talk about Drew Lock being there, but Cortland Sutton is hurt. KJ Hamler is hurt. They didn't know who they were going to put out there at wide receiver today. It's not a deep receiving core to begin with. They're worried about Bradley Chubb on the defensive side of the football. And the other thing that stood out to me was the fact that last year, when the Titans started 2-4, the fourth loss was right here at Denver, 16-0. They got shut out. It was the low point of the season. That was the game in which Mariota got switched over to Tannehill. And from that time on, they went 9-1 down the stretch in the regular season and won a pair of playoff games. And when I looked at the difference, Tennessee won 2 playoff games last year, 9-1 down the stretch. And Denver's just trying to get there. To me, it was enough to keep me off of the Broncos. What do you think of my arguments there? Or do you think that, but the home dog still. And the other thing I remember is that Fangio didn't have him ready last year. You remember the home opener against the Raiders last year on Monday Night Football, and Oakland a year ago was way the better team. They killed them in that game.
Yeah, I can't disagree with what you're saying, Teddy, but I'm going to give you one more rebuttal and ask your thoughts. The Tennessee Titans signed Clowney. They just signed him a few days ago, September 7th. And they also have Beasley on that defense, which was just past the physical a few days ago to come into camp. Those are going to be two key parts of that defense moving forward. They're not going to get a lot of playing time tonight, or if they do, how effective will they be? And I'll throw this out there. Because we didn't have a preseason this year, and you can't simulate everything like you said in practice, how about whenever the Titans get to the second half of this game and they're playing in the altitude? Denver's used to it. And with the new protocols, you're traveling later to an away game. So you don't have that extra time to get acclimated to the altitude. How does that play for you in possibly looking maybe in a second half wager?
So the altitude to me is one of those deals everyone always talks about. And yet, quantifiably, I've never seen it like, okay, this is what happens in altitude. I would think that it's more likely to affect a team week 1 than it would later in the season because they're not in game shape yet. So that is certainly a potential. And again, I certainly did not play the Titan. I didn't lay the 3 with the Titan. I didn't get on the wrong side of that line move. But no, that's sharp money coming on Tennessee. And when I started doing my research last night, I figured out why.
Guys, we're going to skip the baseball game. The segment ran long. That's because you're so good, Marco. I just want to let everybody know I have a bet on tonight's game that I'm betting 4% of my bankroll on, but I am betting 2% of my bankroll on all 4 bets tonight. Very, very rare for me. Unlike Marco, I like the Giants, I like the under, I like Tennessee, and I like under. He's Marco D'Angelo. Thanks for joining us, brother. We'll be right back after you say thank you for allowing us to come on the best show ever. Go ahead, Marco.
Thanks for having me on. And don't forget, bet on it on Wednesdays.
Love.
Want up-to-the-minute scores and odds direct from Las Vegas? Then check out our WagerTalk odds page. You'll get all the latest lines along with moves as they happen from all the biggest books in Las Vegas, including Westgate Superbook, Circa, Golden Nugget, Wynn, Stations, CG, and South Point, just to name a few. Best of all, it's absolutely free.
Hey guys, welcome back to Wager Talk Today. Big segment right now, and then Ralph Michaels next. Teddy, the first I got to go through what's going on, how we've done. NFL year to date, we've had 1 week in the books. I went 3-1. Ralph Michaels 2-0. Koken 2-0. You went 2-1. Won your big 5% play. Tony, dude, I know. I got a man crush for Tony's NFL. He had Seattle and Arizona for a 2-0 day. College football, Brian Leonard on Saturday. Are you kidding? Swept the board 3-0. So did Dr. Chuck over at Sports Memo. Buster Sports 4-1. Coach 3-1. I went 3-1 as well, bro. I'm rolling football. And Ralph 4-2 year to date in college football. We'll be talking to him about that soon. Over 100 likes so far, guys. I can't thank you enough. Shout out to everybody that is joining us. I'll race through a bunch of names, but I see you all. Abel, Sean, Scott, Chance, Nathan, Connor, Juan, Sam Gaming, Birdie, Frank Bud. Lots of love. Same to you, Nate, Elliot V. You are one of the best. Davy Jones, nice to see you. Carlos, Abel, King Kai, John. Oh, guys, it's so appreciated that you guys log on and watch every day. It's a lot of love from Teddy and I, that is for sure. Teddy, week 1 NFL in the bag. Let's race through what we learned. I'm literally going to throw out some team names, some player names. Give me your thoughts really quick. Number 1, Detroit.
You just feel bad for Lions fans. The Lions aren't inept, okay? They're not a bottom tier
Dude,
squad.
the guy dropped the ball to win.
The Lions also, their number 1 draft choice at cornerback was inactive for the game, and then both starting cornerbacks got hurt. It wasn't like Trubisky got good. They just ran out of defenders. Feel bad for the Lions. They're still okay. They'll be okay.
Yeah. And the running back, the rookie running back, dropped the ball to win the game, to fix that disaster.
The irony, the irony about DeAndre Swift dropping the ball is they drafted DeAndre Swift specifically because he was such a good pass catcher out of the backfield. Everything you read about him in the draft is they got to figure out a way to get the ball to him through the passing game. You feel bad for the kid, but welcome to the Lions.
Cleveland Browns.
That was rough yesterday. That was really rough. But again, we talk about teams that have significant situations that don't get a whole lot of mention. The Browns had 3 projected starters in the secondary all out. And Delpit, Greedy Williams, and Kevin Johnson, and they lost their tackle in Jedrick Wills. So that being said, the Browns, that was rough yesterday. Though Baltimore, when you step in front of the Ravens or you step in front of the Chiefs, things like that can happen.
Talk to me, Philadelphia Eagles against the Washington soccer team.
So, I mean, make no mistake about it. Washington's still a bottom feeder. Okay, their pass rush was dominant yesterday. 8 sacks in that ball game. The Eagles,
Carrington, man,
they had 3. So once they went up 17-0, the rest of the game went out this: 4 3-and-outs, 3 turnovers, 2 stopped on downs, and 1 missed field goal. It was really ugly. But you talk about, again, cluster injuries on the offensive line. Philly's got real problems. There wasn't a team in the NFL that I downgraded more than the Eagles off their week 1 showing in my power ratings.
Teddy, a lot of guys thought Kyler Murray could win MVP this year. Looked awesome yesterday. Arizona, San Fran.
So Arizona was fine. Arizona did what we thought they were going to do. San Fran is where the issue is, okay? The 49ers missing their top 2 centers and basically their entire receiving core. And you saw what Garoppolo looked like yesterday. Garoppolo was terrible in that ballgame. When you don't have a starting center, you don't have receivers that are running the routes they're supposed to, there's going to be issues. 49ers have issues right now, real issues, despite or in addition to we just lost the Super Bowl curse.
I was blown away by Joe Burrows. His poise was phenomenal. He marched them down the field. Got unlucky at the end there. What did you think of his debut?
A very impressive debut for Joe Burrow, no question. There were things to like about Cincinnati yesterday, which hasn't always been the case. And certainly they've got some weapons. And they win the game, if not for an offensive pass interference call on A.J. Green. Yeah. there's hope for Burrow, but make no mistake about it, he's still a rookie QB. There is still going to be growing pains, and Cincy is still one of the worst 5 teams in the NFL.
Baltimore and Kansas City, dude. They showed us what we expected.
Yeah, as I said, the Ravens and the Chiefs, I've got them now. Those 2 teams are tied in my power ratings. They're both 4 points, by my numbers, better than New Orleans, who's the number 3 team as of today.
And the New England Patriots, I was impressed. A very different game calling by Belichick. Their defense looked awesome. I was impressed with them.
So Miami stinks. All right. So let's, and the Patriots are one of these teams that, how many Patriots teams have started 2-2 and then gone on to win the Super Bowl, or make a deep postseason run? Belichick's not about September, and this team will go through some growing pains. There was a lot to like about New England yesterday. Most notably, they were able to run the offensive line, even without legendary OL coach Scaramucci, was still controlling the line of scrimmage, and Cam Newton's good.
Bet Indianapolis wished Jacoby played yesterday. Phillip Rivers was a mess. He made really bad decisions as well. And Jacksonville, very impressive. That Gardner Minshew, he just feels like a winner to me. What do you think of that game?
So this whole Gardner Minshew, where the NFL is starting to pay attention to Gardner Minshew, if you're a college football bettor, you're well familiar with this guy, particularly if you're paying attention to Pac-12 football. Gardner Minshew did exactly what he's doing in Jacksonville at Washington State under Mike Leach's offense. It wasn't always pretty. The accuracy was always there, and the ability to rally his team from adverse situations has been there. He showed his leadership from the college times. Not surprised that the Jags are that they're not tanking for Trevor Minshew. There's hope for Gardner Minshew.
Yeah,
he doesn't have a big
Fabio.
arm.
I don't understand the love for Fabio. Teddy, big game breakdown. We got to talk a little NBA. Celtics series price -140. Couple of minutes. Give us your thoughts on that, and then we'll bring Ralph Michaels right in.
Sure. Let's do a little big game breakdown. And really, let's talk about the series. Where we're looking at Miami in the +115, +20 range. Boston -135, -140. If you shop around, you can find a little bit better. If you're judging based solely on what we've seen in the playoffs, Miami looks very, very live in this series. All right. The Heat have dominated their first 2 opponents, including beating the number 1 seed Milwaukee Bucks by margin in a series that they controlled. However, if you look at the bigger picture, besides what we've just seen in this year's bubble, Boston has a lot of the characteristics we look for out of the teams that go to the finals. Most notably, when you look at who goes to the finals, there's a progression. You almost never see a team that didn't make the playoffs the previous year, that hadn't won a playoff series in 5 years, like the Heat. Last time they won a playoff series was 2016, prior to the bubble run here. You rarely see a team like that make a run that goes all the way to the finals. And while they're getting all this credit for beating Milwaukee, Milwaukee was 53-10 when the league went on hiatus, and they went 8-10 after the league came back. They weren't the same team. The Celtics just beat the reigning champs, the defending champs, and they did it with intense defense throughout the course of that series. I don't know Miami's playing defense at that level, and the Heat value is sky high right now. I'm looking at the Celtics to win that series. I think -135 is cheap for Boston.
I love that call. I'm so with you there. He's Teddy Covers. I'm the Prez. You're watching WagerTalk Today. And it's time, Teddy, for our favorite friend, Mr. TNA, Ralph Michaels. So, Ralph Michaels, how are you, brother? Oh, there's the pen move.
Doing great.
I'm doing
and
great,
Prez,
dude.
you cheated me out of a win, 3-0 in the NFL yesterday. So
Oh, you know what?
Don't be cheating. Don't be cheating me out of a
What was
W.
the third one? It was obviously graded late.
Well, I will thankfully take a Bears win. I had the Browns
Never in
and the
doubt.
Ravens under the total, and I had a first half play on the Chargers and the Bengals under. Again,
Nice.
just basically two new schemes, new quarterbacks playing unders early in the game.
Nice stuff, dude. I also want to just I wanted to shout out. I don't know if you guys we had a U.S. Open show, Ralph. Carmine, I hosted it. Carmine, Nick Borman, Andrew McGinnis. Carmine gave out 2 bets on the U.S. Open show before the tournament started. He gave out Osaka to win at plus 800. He cashed that ticket, and he gave out Team to win at plus 770. And he cashed that ticket as well. So I just want to shout out to Carm, both massive winners. He called both the U.S. Open winners, and both were juicy dogs. Ralph, it's your segment. I'll shut up. Take it away, baby.
A couple simple baseball angles to get us started on a Monday. Just if you're looking for action tonight. The White Sox, they're a home dog today. They're on a 12-1 run at home, playing very well. And a lot has been made of the White Sox when they're facing a lefty. They're 12-0 on the season. They're not facing a lefty today, but there's another team out on the opposite coast. The Oakland A's now are 9-0 versus lefties this year. The A's are facing a southpaw tonight. Now, the situational play of the day, and by the way, boy, did they do well last week. We finished off the week with a gold sheet technical winner on Louisiana Lafayette. Thank you, Rick. Thank you to the gold sheet for that. Situational play of the day, I'm going to tonight's Monday Night Football game. And a lot of it has to do with an angle that we talked about last week. When the Pittsburgh Steelers are an away favorite of 3 or more, they are 119-1 over-under. That's right. In 21 games, Mike Tomlin, as an away favorite of over 3, has only gone over the total once. And guess what? That was a 1-point over against the Browns opening day a couple years ago. He gets a win. He's conservative. He's a bad away favorite against the spread. He doesn't care what he wins by. He just wants to get out with a victory. Oh, yeah, Pittsburgh, 5-26 over-under just on the road without being a road favorite. And the Giants, 4-7 as a home dog, their last 11 over-under. So 4 overs and 7 unders. So put it together, technical play of the day, the New York Giants and Pittsburgh Steelers under 45.
It's definitely worth noting, Ralph, that if you want to play that under, I play it sooner rather than later. The total's sitting at 45 right now, but several of the leading indicator books are telling me this total could get hit again to the under. So if you like that under, there's some urgency there.
Well, especially considering I told everybody I'm betting the under. I mean, we've already seen it drop 15 points. Ralph, I love that you're laughing.
The Wager Talk did we saw 3 upsets by dogs of 5.5 or more this past Sunday. And how often does that happen in week 1? So I wanted our people to know. Since 2005, if you go back the last 15 years, there have only been 12 week 1 upsets by dogs of 5.5 or more. So 12 in 15 years, only 4 in the last 5 seasons, and we had 3 yesterday. So, guys, here's the situation, and these are the type of situations we're going to have all season long, each and every day. If you have a situation you want me to run, reach out at Cal Sports LV on Twitter, and I'll run it and talk about it on the show. So, since 1994, when an NFL team in week 1 lost as a favorite of 5.5 or more, they have gone 24-11. 69% against the spread. Makes perfect sense to me. You were embarrassed. You were supposed to be the better team week 1. You rebound quickly, make those adjustments. The next week you cover 69%. Those teams to keep an eye on: Philadelphia, Indianapolis, and San Francisco.
Darn it, I wanted to fade at least 2 of those teams next week. But
Well,
what'd
you
say?
know, Teddy, it's a
What's that,
different
Emma? What's the number on
situation
it?
with the injuries. What's that?
I said, what was the number on it?
24-11, only 35 teams since 1994, 69%. But again, we're seeing a different season with the COVID, like you talked about. Arizona without their starting center, San Fran without both centers. You know, as the COVID situations pop up, you know, the new coaches, the new schemes. Certainly the Browns look bad with a new coach and a new scheme yesterday. Those teams that were established put up a lot of yards that had those new schemes. So, you know, new coaches, I don't know if you guys talked about this. So, you know, or new quarterbacks. Indy, new quarterback, loser. Browns, new coach, loser. You know, you go through the list and you have to make those adjustments. I can tell you this, in college football, if you fade a team with a new head coach, you're 8-2 so far this year in a very short period of time.
Right. Ralph, I got a
Sure,
question
and
for
the
you.
NFL as well.
Sorry, Teddy. Go ahead, brother. Everyone would rather hear you than me.
Clearly.
I know who
I don't even remember what
butters
I was
my
going to say
bread.
now.
Well,
I just
you're
like
out.
cutting you off. Go. Whatever you got.
Well, I got to ask you a question about the hockey game tonight. I really like the over tonight. It's 5 goals. It started the first game between Vegas and Dallas was 6. So it's a full goal drop. I like the over in these elimination games. I think you had some info on the under, though, right?
Well, I just tweeted out again. People think because I tweet out information, that means I like that side. Not at all. I am just tweeting out information. The last 7 times the Golden Knights have been a favorite, they're 0-7 over under. Their average goal scored 1.3 goals. But how about this? In the 7 games they were a favorite, the last 7 games, they have not scored a first period goal. So, you know, certainly, you know, I talked to Dave off the air, Koken, and he, you know, he was talking about, well, you know, again, it's an entirely different mindset. How early do you pull the goalie? You know, you have to try to change things up. So while they're 0-7, watching these Vegas Knights, I am not a hockey fan. I am a very casual fan, but I cannot believe they can get shut out again for another period. So the due system has cost a lot of people a lot of money. So don't bet it because of that. But they're just too good of a team to not score a first period goal in 7 straight games as a favorite.
Teddy,
Cal,
go ahead.
on Twitter at CalSportsLV to ask Ralph any query questions that you're looking for, and he'll answer them on the show. I don't know that. I think that's a pretty good bonus for watching. The guy will answer your questions with database research. Again, message him at CalSportsLV.
He's
Yeah,
Teddy
you know,
on the
tomorrow,
Prez,
guys.
Ralph Michaels. Go ahead, Ralph.
We got Game 7 numbers for tomorrow. NBA Game 7 numbers. A lot of information. A lot of database numbers for the NBA.
Too much interrupting on my end. Sorry, boys. I'm excited. Ralph Michaels, thank you for joining us, brother, every day. It's such a pleasure. I can't wait to do the presidential NFL address with you. Teddy Covers, like always, I love you. And take us home, dude.
Sure. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the games. Good luck tonight. We'll be back here tomorrow on WagerTalk Today.